Hello and welcome to What Culture Horror with myself, Andrew Pallard, for what is hopefully the start of a new weekly or maybe even more frequent news roundup video. As with some of our other What Culture channels, the aim here is simply to bring together some of the bigger and more interesting stories of the past few days or the past week or so. As ever, though, be sure to let us know in the comments what you'd like to see on What Culture Horror, and we'll see what we can do. If it was solely down to me, obviously, I just put out constant videos asking for someone to finally distribute Buddy Cooper's Mutilated 2, or for Frank and Lotta to give us a Frankenhooker sequel, or for Derek Mears to get another crack at the whip as Jason Voorhees. Anyway, for this particular news video, what better place to start with than the Predator franchise? Yes, while the Dan Trachtenberg directed Predator Badlands is set for release next November, it turns out that we're actually going to get two Predator movies in 2025. Now, 20th Century Studios' Steve Aspel told a Hollywood Reporter that Badlands and a Predator movie he can't talk about just yet are on the way next year. No details are known on this mystery Predator film at this stage, but it will be released before Predator Badlands and has also been directed by Dan Trachtenberg. He has been an extremely busy boy, I think it's fair to say. Of course, Trachtenberg also directed The Brilliant Prey a couple of years ago, which was a fantastic return to form for the Predator franchise. Because let's face it, there's been some very ropey Predator movies over the years. But that's not all anyway. As Steve Aspel also said how he expects a new Alien and Predator crossover movie to happen under the Disney banner at some point, rather than just throw in those two franchises together, a la the Alien versus Predator films. The current plan is for a new crossover film to be organically created. As Aspel put it, a new Alien and Predator movie would be organically created out of these two franchises that we've continued with characters that we fall in love with, and those characters will combine. Perhaps. So it seems more like rather than just going, right, we want an Alien and Predator movie, so just it seems like more that if this is to happen, it's a case of planning it through the Alien films, planning it through Predator films, to the point where it's a natural point where the films can cross over with the stories will intertwine. So, yeah, we'll have to see on that one. I mean, Alien versus Predator. Do you have any faith in a potential new Alien and Predator movie being actually any good? Are you one of those people who enjoyed one or both of the previous AVP pictures? Let us know in the comments. Myself, I don't know. Yeah, no, it's the first one was a little bit ropey. The second one even more ropey. So yeah, I'm probably not the best person to ask about that. And I spent years wanting to see an Alien and Predator film, even going back to like comics, video games. It was all there and teased, and then we got it, and it was just a big pile of. Anyway, sticking with big franchises, and obviously it couldn't be a What Culture Horror video without some mention of a Scream movie. I joke. We see your comments, trust me, but there is a genuine reason here to bring up Scream. For we might well see McDreamy back in the Scream fold in the future. Now, this was during an appearance on Today. Patrick Dempsey revealed he's had talks about returning as Mark Kincaid, possibly for Scream 7. Now, Kincaid is a character who's only actually appeared so far in one Scream movie. That was back in Scream 3. Though he's been name dropped in both the 2022 Scream and in Scream 6. By this point in time in the timeline, Kincaid is married to Sidney Prescott. They have a couple of kids. So he's very much still alive, very much still canon, and very much on the table for a potential appearance in a future movie. As Dempsey put it here on Today, his Scream return, it is far from confirmed. It's nothing official at this stage. In fact, as he put it, they've had conversations about maybe him coming back as Kincaid, and now he's just waiting for a screenplay to be put together for him to take a look at and see whether it's something that would interest him. So it's a strange old time for the Scream franchise right now. I think it's fair to say. You got the recent leads, the two actresses, characters who were destined to carry the franchise forward, Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega. They're no longer involved now. Original Scream 7 director Christopher Landon likewise left the film. That was the turn of the year. I can't remember if it was exactly the end of last year or the start of this year. I think it was that kind of period in between Christmas and New Year where everybody gets all confused with the days and dates. But yeah, Christopher Landon left. And the only confirmed cast member right now is Neve Campbell, who obviously will be back as Sidney Prescott. Now, Neve Campbell famously was not a part of Scream 6. There was a dispute there in terms of negotiations, what was being offered to her that she was not happy with. That has seemingly been fixed for Scream 7. So Neve Campbell is back as Sid. But away from that, It's a it's a very blank canvas right now for Scream 7. Courtney Cox is in talks to return as Gale Weathers, which that would make her the only character to appear in every Scream movie so far if she was to come back. But as of now, again, that's still not official. That's just kind of at the negotiation stage. As for the director's chair, Kevin Williamson is he's taken over from Christopher Landon. Now, Kevin Williamson, of course, wrote the first four Scream movies. Also wrote I Know What You Did Last Summer, The Faculty. A lot of his stuff was Dawson's Creek. I Don't Want to Live. God, man, memories, memories of a childhood long in the past. But anyway, Kevin Williamson is going to be directing. Release-wise, Scream 7. It was originally penciled in for 2024 for this year. Then it was pushed back to 2025. And now, as I sit here recording this video, Scream 7 has a February 2026 release date. So there's a lot of work to be done on Scream 7 to basically, it's Sydney at the moment. We've got Sydney, we've got a director. That's kind of it. Obviously, we'll have Ghostface or a Ghostface plus 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Ghostfaces. Who knows this time out? But one movie that is releasing in 2025 is Danny Boyle's 28 Years Later. And now we finally have some plot details for the threequel. This comes from Ralph Fiennes, who is one of those on board for 28 Years Later. He did a recent interview with IndieWire where he revealed the first real specifics about the film. I mean, obviously we knew basic certain details, as in, it's going to follow on from the first two films. It's going to be 28 years after those, and we're going to see where the rage virus is up to. But Ralph Fiennes said that, yeah, it is going to be set in Britain 28 years into the terror's first scene in 28 Days Later. There's pockets of uninfected communities, and there is a focus here on a young boy trying to find a doctor to help his dying mother. As that boy takes his mum through the northern English terrain, all around them, in the forests and the hills, of course, are the infected. And while we might initially think the Doctor could be weird and odd, he's actually a force for good and is played by, you guessed it, Ralph Fiennes. Now, 28 years later, it is the start of a new trilogy. Danny Boyle is directing the first of this trilogy. Alex Garland is back on writing duties as well. And joining Ralph Fiennes, there's Ralph Fiennes, there's Jack O'Connell, there's Jodie Comer, there's Aaron Taylor Johnson. And we already know that the second leg of this trilogy will be directed by Nia DaCosta, who's best known to horror fans for the 2021 Candyman movie. That was... I know that kind of split opinion, that film, but I got such a kick out of that. I thought it was so well done. But anyway, for those wondering about Cillian Murphy, he's serving as an executive producer on 28 Days Later, and reportedly will also pop back up as Jim, which is the role, of course, he played in 28 Days Later back in the day. In what, 2002, was it? Yeah, man, that's a long old time ago. A long old time ago. And in one final story for today's horror news video, IDW Comics are delving themselves deep into the world of horror. Now, this news, it's not the biggest of stories, but it's something that I just put a smile on my face and I was like, yes, man, yes, boy, to quote Pretty Deadly for those wrestling fans out there. Now, IDW have put out some phenomenal work in recent years, taking on big name properties like the Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Transformers, Star Trek, Godzilla, and they're very much adult-driven tales that have consequences. There's some brutal consequences across the past few years. And that reminds me totally, I've got Turtles, the Last Ronin Lost Years here to read. Still not got around to that. But seriously, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin is just a must-read. Absolutely stunning story. Yeah. Just one turtle left in the future to get vengeance for his family. It is brilliant. And you don't know who the turtle is until halfway through. Man, it's such a good story. But anyway, IDW Publishing is launching its IDW Dark line that will focus on original horror stories and also certain Paramount Pictures horror properties such as Smile, A Quiet Place, Sleepy Hollow, The Twilight Zone, and Event Horizon. An Event Horizon follow-up. Sign me the heck up. IDW Dark will get started on their horror output with Fallen Sun, which is a sequel to the 30 Days of Night comic book. I mean, 30 Days of Night, of course, was a movie, Josh Hartnett in there, but it started life as a comic book. And also there's going to be Rite of Spring is on the way, which is a sequel to the Eisner Award-winning Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sleeps. So the details are slightly vague right now, but more details on what IDW Dark fully has to offer is expected in early 2025. But yeah, we're going to be getting comic book versions of Event Horizon, The Twilight Zone, Sleepy Hollow, A Quiet Place, and Smile. So that's something to look forward to. And there are other Paramount properties as well that haven't been announced yet that will be getting the comic book treatment, whether that's sequels, prequels, just an expansion of those worlds or universe, the lore of those properties. But that's something very very much to look forward to. And with that, that brings an end to today's What Culture Horror news video. I've been Andrew Pollard. This has been What Culture Horror. You have a great rest of your day. Let us know in the comments what you want to see from us here at What Culture Horror. We're all ears. So I'll catch you down the road. Be well, be good, stay safe.